All right, when you think about the big winners in the AI boom, who pops into your head? NVIDIA, right? Of course. But what if I told you that one of the most critical players in this whole revolution has been quietly setting the stage for this moment for over 30 years? This is the story of AI's unsung hero. And that's a really good question, right? You've got this company, Rambus, founded way back in 1990, and all of a sudden its tech is right at the heart of the most advanced AI servers on the planet. So what's the deal? Did they just get lucky or something?
Well, the answer is a hard no. This wasn't sudden, and it definitely wasn't luck. This was a super deliberate, strategic pivot that they've been working on for years. It's a story about shifting from a stable, kind of slow and steady business into a high-octane product company that is literally powering the future of data.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with who Rambus is, get a handle on their old business model, and then dive into how AI just changed everything for them. From there, we'll check out the 3 moats that protect their business, look at what's next for growth and, the risks involved, and we'll wrap up with the big question every investor's asking. Okay, first things first. Who exactly is Rambus? Founded back in 1990, they're based in San Jose, California, and they've been pioneers in semiconductor and memory tech for decades. They're probably not a household name, but I guarantee you their innovations are inside tons of the computers and systems we all use every day. Look, to really get what makes Rambus tick today, we've got to rewind a bit and look at where they came from. For years, the whole foundation of the company was its patent licensing program. For decades, Rambus's main gig was licensing out its massive portfolio. We're talking over 2,700 patents to the biggest memory makers in the world. Samsung, SK Hynix, Micron. Just think of it like collecting royalties on core technology that everyone needs. It's an incredibly stable, super profitable business model. And this business? Man, it was a total cash cow. We're talking up to $210 million a year in high-margin revenue. The strategy here was just brilliant. Use that steady stream of cash to fund a massive pivot. A pivot into becoming a product company. And that brings us to today, to the new Rambus. The absolute explosion in AI has created this insane, insatiable hunger for data and memory bandwidth, and that is exactly where the company's new strategy found its perfect moment to shine. Yeah, you see, an AI server is a whole different beast. It's not just a regular server with a fancy GPU slapped in. It needs a staggering amount of memory, like 2 to 4 times more, just to keep those super powerful AI processors from starving for data. This created a huge bottleneck that the old tech just couldn't keep up with. You have to understand, the jump from DDR4 to DDR5 memory wasn't just a little speed bump. It was like tearing up an old country road and building the German Autobahn in its place. It literally doubles the speed. But when you're going that fast, keeping the data signals clean and stable is a massive physics problem. So every single server memory module now needs a special little chip called an RCD to keep things stable. And guess who makes those essential chips? Yep, Rambus. So what does this mean for the bottom line? While the impact has been absolutely stunning. While that licensing money stayed nice and stable, the revenue from selling these crucial DDR5 chips just skyrocketed, up 41% year over year. The proof is in the pudding. Rambus is now officially a product-driven growth company. Okay, so they've got this great new business, right? But how do they protect it? How do they keep competitors out? Well, they've built 3 incredibly powerful competitive advantages, or moats, that make their position really, really tough to challenge. It comes down to these 3 powerful moats. First, they operate in what's basically an oligopoly. Second, they act as a critical arms dealer of intellectual property. And third, they have a unique geopolitical edge as a US-based supplier. Let's dig into each one. All right, moat number 1. This isn't a market where just anyone can set up shop. It's a classic oligopoly. There are only 3 major suppliers in the entire world: Rambus, a company from China called Montage Technology, and Renaissance from Japan. That's it. It's got super high barriers to entry, it takes forever to get validated by customers, and those relationships are sticky. And Rambus isn't just in the club, they're leading it with a 45% market share. Moat number 2 is my favorite. Think of Rambus as the invisible arms dealer for the entire AI industry. See, they don't just sell physical chips, they sell the essential design blueprints that other chip companies need to build their own stuff. You want to connect that high bandwidth memory on an NVIDIA H100 GPU? You need Rambus's IP. You want to secure your AI models with hardware-level security? You need their IP. You need to connect all the components in a server at lightning speed? You get the idea. It's an incredibly high-margin business that puts them inside basically every important AI chip out there. And that brings us to moat number 3, their geopolitical advantage. In a world where everyone's worried about trade tensions and supply chains, the fact that Rambus is the last American supplier of this tech is a huge deal. For major U.S. companies, it provides a level of security and peace of mind that competitors just can't offer. That's a serious long-term strategic advantage.
Okay, so Rambus has totally transformed itself, and they built these killer moats. But what's next? Where's the future growth coming from? Let's take a look at their next big growth drivers and also some of the key risks you've got to watch out for.
So if DDR5 is the big story right now, then CXL is the next chapter. CXL, or Compute Express Link, is this revolutionary new standard that's going to totally change how data centers are built. It lets you pool all your memory and share between processors and accelerators. This is going to solve some of the biggest memory bottlenecks we have today. And of course, Rambus is right there, developing the key chips to make it all happen. This is their second massive growth curve. And they have a really clear timeline for all this. In the back half of 2025, new companion chips for DDR5 are going to start bringing in revenue. Then a year later, their next-gen memory solutions will start ramping up, and then between 2026 and 2027, the whole CXL market is expected to really take off, opening up that massive new opportunity. But hey, let's be real. No company is without risks. Rambus is very dependent on those 3 big memory makers, so any trouble there could be a problem. They absolutely have to stay on the cutting edge for what's next, like DDR6, and as we've seen across the industry, supply chain hiccups can happen, so flawless execution is always key. Which brings us to the big, final question for anyone looking at this company. We've seen a complete business transformation, we've seen powerful competitive moats, and there's a clear roadmap for growth. But has Wall Street fully caught on to this new Rambus?
Well, if you ask Wall Street analysts, it seems like the story isn't over yet. The median price target from 14 analysts suggests there could still be over 30% upside from its current price. The consensus is pretty clearly bullish.
So let's bring it all home. Rambus isn't that sleepy patent licensing company anymore. It's become an essential product supplier right at the core of the AI infrastructure boom, solving the critical memory wall problem. The facts show the company has fundamentally changed. The only real question left is, has the market's perception fully caught up?